So at this point right now, Opetaia is trying to take advantage of his opportunities that Turkey Al-Sheikh has basically given him and put him in a position where he could flourish and try to grow. Also, the cruiserweight division basically is on the back of Opetaia. I know that Usyk was there recently. I know they also have a couple of guys. Billiam Smith is at the cruiserweight division. But right now, I feel like Opetaia is basically the cream of the crop when it comes to cruiserweights. And I'll be putting out some things about that later on. But with Billiam Smith, he had a fight, basically an offer that was supposed to happen around the time earlier this year, before the Breeders situation actually happened. I know Opetaia was trying to fight Billiam Smith last year, I think last December, then around March, April, February. I'll say more so February. January also, he was still trying to see what Billiam Smith was going to do. I think at one point in time, Zerto and Chris Billiam Smith had a mandatory or something handed down. I'm not too sure. I'm guessing right now. But I'm thinking that possibly could have been a situation. And I will add that probably. I'll just add that into this video at the end of this video. But I'll tell y'all the reason why about that. But Zerto Ramirez, he was actually a cruiserweight that just came from light heavyweight. And from what I seen, they were trying to make sure that the Maris Breeders fight would actually happen, because it was proposed again to Opetaia around the time the Billiam Smith and Ramirez fight was being thought about. And then Billiam Smith went and had a domestic fight with Richard Riakpo recently. And that was basically a rematch. He wanted to avenge a loss that he had, his only loss. But at this time right now, Billiam Smith is 34 years old. So it's not an old age for boxing, but it is an old age when you're trying to fight a guy like Opetaia. He's not a Maris Breeders as far as the same type of style that Maris Breeders is. Billiam Smith won't be able to duplicate that style. I don't think the toughness is the same as a Maris Breeders. Not saying that he's not a tough fighter. I'm just saying Maris Breeders had a lot of time to develop that style. And it's just not going to happen where Billiam Smith will be able to come in and duplicate that. So he's not trying to jump into the fire that much. But I also will say, Billiam Smith, what I have noticed about him is he only fights every 6 months. Every 6 months. Not every 4 months. You go and look at his resume. He fights every 6 months. And that's what I don't like about boxing, because a lot of these fighters, it's not their fault because they don't set up the dates. But a lot of these fighters, they fight twice a year, and their bodies just get so used to fighting twice a year. Then a guy like Turkey Al-Sheikh comes along and say, hey, I can put fights together 3 times a year. And these guys are like, nah, my camp is not long enough. A lot of these guys need a lot of rest in between fights. They're getting older, and then they're not used to actually training that much. So it puts them at a disadvantage. But with Billiam Smith, it's not going to help his situation that he's turned down this October 12th fight. That could have possibly been on the Bitterbiv and Bivol undercard, or even a co-main event with Opetaia, because he was on the last fight card with Usyk and Fury. And I'm pretty sure Turkey Al-Sheikh is trying to speed up that process and get him in a ring with Billiam Smith so they can kind of move on with the cruiserweight division. Turkey Al-Sheikh is actually doing a good job putting together the cruiserweight division. After Usyk left, it's not really a lot of talent going around. It's a lot of talent coming into the division, but as far as in the division already, not that many guys. So they're definitely building it up. And Opetaia is just tired of waiting on this fight, man. He's been waiting a long time. He was already at the Breeder situation. I feel like his situation, people like Crawford, these guys want to fight, man. And it's always something that's, well, I got to handle this first and handle that first. I don't like these guys. I don't care what kind of champion they are. I don't like them turning down their best opportunity or biggest opportunities. Like it's just, oh, well, I'll have another chance. I don't like that. I don't like that. A lot of people in boxing don't have a lot of chances to fight on a Saudi card. They don't have a lot of chances to actually fight a big fight like Opetaia, especially for a belt unification fight. So with Breedis, him kind of slowing everything down, it didn't actually help. But the fight was good either way. It was a good learning lesson, a good fight for Opetaia to take away from. But as far as with Billiam Smith, he has to jump into the fire. I feel like if he doesn't do anything this year, next year is going to be a struggle for him. At the age of 35, I think he's going to have a harder time than he would this year, especially coming off the fight he just had against Riakpo. If I was him, I would definitely think about trying to get myself in order. He said he's looking to fight in November, December. He just didn't want to shorten his camp up, which is a real answer. He's being honest about that. That is the truth. From what I'm seeing on his resume, he fights every 6 months. So he's kind of almost like a robot when it comes to his schedule and what he does. And he said he's not going to shorten the camp up. He's never done it. He hasn't shortened the camp up since his son was born, and he had to do it for, I forgot what fight it was, but it was a fight. I forgot what fight it was, but he had to shorten the camp up for his the fight he had for his son was coming in. It was a big offer. He needed to take it at the time, just for money purposes. But in this situation, this is a money purpose too. Like, if you want to help your son, you can definitely accept this fight with Opetaia. Guys is not getting paid little money to put these fights together, and that would definitely be an advantage for him. But with that domestic fight, he got it out the way. But if I was him, I would really take advantage of that fight, because if not, you could find yourself in a situation where, I'll just say, he'll find himself in a situation where he'll be fighting somebody that he would rather not fight. If you don't fight Opetaia, it's the guy I know that will definitely he's not gonna want to fight. So if I was him, I would definitely fix that situation as soon as possible, ASAP. I would definitely fix that situation. But Opetaia, he's gonna have an opportunity regardless. Billiam Smith didn't say he wouldn't fight him. This is not one of those situations where he said, I'm not gonna fight him, and he actually gave a date. He said, I'll fight him in December. He didn't say on the Fury Usyk card, but that's the card that's gonna be available. And he wants to fight Opetaia on the Usyk and Fury card. Opetaia really not trying to wait. How long would that be? 5, 7 months? Not really trying to wait 7 months in his prime. This is his prime year, so he gonna sit on the sideline for 7 months in his prime. There's a lot of guys doing that right now. Bro, he's 29 years old right now, and they want him to sit on the shelf in his prime. That's disgusting to me. So that's the only thing I don't like about the Billiam Smith situation. It's like Billiam Smith is not in his prime no more, and Opetaia is. So for him to be like, nah, let me wait a little longer, you're not helping yourself out. It's gonna be a harder fight for you, not Opetaia. It's gonna be a way harder fight for you. If I was you, I would actually think about taking that fight right now and trying to get it out the way. Those 2 months might make a big difference. And that's something he doesn't know. That those 2 months might make a huge difference. But a lot of these cruiserweights are going to fight each other. When they're dealing with Saudi Arabia right now, a lot of these cruiserweights are going to end up fighting each other. Opetaia is going to be at the top. And guys like Ramirez, Billiam Smith, if he wants to be involved, he can. But at the end of the day, he's going to either have to fight one of these guys, or they're going to hand out a mandatory eventually. But at this time right now, I think Billiam Smith's going to fight him. He said December. He fights every 6 months. He fights one time in the summer, then he'll fight one time in December. So it's right on schedule. But having Opetaia hang around, I don't know. I don't know if it's a good thing right now, because I don't know. It kind of holds up a lot. actually waiting on Billiam Smith, but it still kind of lines up to where undisputed for cruiserweight could actually happen next year. So we'll have to see. It could happen next year. Could have happened this year, but a lot of things aren't really going the way I actually want them to go. But it's all good. But it was definitely a good opportunity for Opetaia. He's going to get the fight with Billiam Smith. I don't feel like Billiam Smith saying no, him personally. That's the guy he's been wanting to fight mostly. But he said recently, like the last week or two, I'll just say the last month, a lot of people been calling him out at cruiserweight. I don't know if Zerto called him out. I don't know the other guy that called him out. I know Opetaia said something. But he knows Opetaia been saying something. So it's not the last month that Opetaia has called him out. It's been the last year and a half, 2 years or something like that. It's like been a long time, man. I know it's been the last year he been calling you out. So that's not for him to be like, well, no, he been calling you out for the last year, not the last couple of weeks. The other guy who's calling you out recently, that guy wasn't calling you out last year. So that's not the situation. And you already have a fight date too, so he knows what time it is. And when they get in the ring, it's just gonna make everything a lot more aggressive, especially for Opetaia. He gonna come out with a little edge, Because, usually if he fights the guy early, he wouldn't know much about the guy. They won't have too much dialogue in between each other. But Billiam Smith is just adding on more and talking a lot more about the situation, not getting anything done. But he'll find out eventually that in the ring he's going to have to say something with his hands, not any other situation, just talking. In the ring, he's going to have to figure it out because this cruiserweight division is going to be one of the hottest divisions next year. Mark my words. A lot of people are not talking about it now, but cruiserweight is going to be one of the deepest divisions next year. And I'll explain why soon. But that's all I got. Like and subscribe.